This is Morten from Inkish. Chick and I, we are in Chicago at Fujifilm's American headquarters, and I'm talking to my very good friend Andy from Fujifilm.
Good to see you again, sir.
I mean, you're always busy, aren't you?
I try to stay busy, yeah.
Is that important?
Well, I think it is. I think if I ever slowed down, I'd stop, and I don't want to do that. So yeah.
No, but I mean, you're busy with good things because I mean, I know that you have also personally put a lot of energy into this event, and you have had dealers and media and a lot of different people coming in here. So I wouldn't say that we are at the end of the second day, but at least we're getting closer to the end. How has it been for you the first couple of days here?
It's been great. So first of all, thanks for being here, Morten. It's always good to see you, and thanks for making the trek over. The Ziga is always welcome as well. So anyway, that aside, we had a great. It's been more than 2 days. We're on our third day. So we had on Monday the 17th, St. Paddy's Day, we had the launch of the internal launch for the new EC2000 and SC285, both 5-color devices.
So that was like the internal.
That was the
launch,
internal
basically.
Kickoff, which was the dry run, and then we had our channel partner event yesterday, and it was about we're really starting anew here with not just new products and innovation, but starting with new different channels and go-to-market strategies. So that was a very cool event where we were have existing partners, but also onboarding some new ones. And then obviously today we've got our VIP customers, everybody from franchise print. But also, we wanted to invite the media in here, right? So
it's been cool being here, I can tell you. Yeah.
So I mean, the whole thing is it's important for us to tell our story, but it's also important for you guys to tell our story as well. So it's been great with doing that and talking about our whole digital disruption story, not just the fact that yes, by the way, we also launched these products, and as well, we had at Hunkler a few weeks ago, we showed the 1160 CFG for the first time. It was our coming out party, if you will. This is kind of our coming out party for the Americas. So it's been a busy time, and very happy that the digital disruption platform has been a success so far.
One of the things I can't help think about, I mean, I don't think that you and I will disagree if I say that, let's say 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, Fujifilm was a little bit behind the scene company.
Very much, yeah.
Because I mean, at that time you had the 720, which was like always recognized as being one of the best inkjet printers, right? Yeah. I also know that, of course, as a supplier to the Xerox family at that time was, I mean, that's where we met, right?
Exactly.
Was fantastic times. Yeah. But now you really have to, I mean, with the vast, let's say, product range, you simply have to go full speed ahead on marketing, sales channels.
A friend of mine used to say to me, "Don't be shy of walking with a heavy foot." I used to say, "What does that mean exactly?" Now it's like, you kind of do have to walk with a heavy foot. Yes, I've got the print-on-demand stuff, but even 5 years ago with our wide format, we went away from our former supplier to doing our own wide format. It's all these spaces that we're going into now. We're going into textiles and going into the garment industry with our wide format. I mean, if you look at the applications out there, we talk about embellishments on our presses, and by the way, overnight we've tripled that capability, which is scary to think. Yeah. But embellishments, we're also doing it on our wide format with tactile look and feel of white and clear and all those different things. So this departure of being behind the scenes and being the supplier to being out in front and I would say leader of the pack sets the pace. I do like to think that that we're doing that, and of course, when I talk about our platform, not to be outdone is the evolution of workflow and creating hybrid workflows where with XMF it used to be just to take a 1-bit TIFF to an offset. Well, now we've got a digital workflow, so you've got this amazing hybrid workflow. So my point is that we can honor the customers that buy our plates because we have to make sure to do that, but also with a dead set on the look forward and helping them get there as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah. On let's say you personally being part of a large company that has almost like, I was just about to say restarted your graphics presence. Yeah. Is there like a startup, let's say, mentality in the company, or is it sometimes going too slow in your mind?
No, we think about it. That's a good question, because if I think about it, I go, you're in that crawl, walk, run phase. I think we're coming out of the crawl and we're getting into a steady walk now, right? Because we're bringing the products to market. We've gotten rid of the speed wobbles that we have, right? Where yes, we're bringing out products at a very fast pace, but they're now getting into second generation products. So I don't know if you know this or not, but anything at Fuji that's got a 1 on the front of it is typically, it means first generation.
Really?
So
I
our
did not know.
1160 CF is first generation, right?
And the 287 is the
right,
second
and so
generation.
the 285 and the 2000, those are second generation products.
Okay.
So
and that's also why you emphasize that it's like from ground up build and
Exactly.
basically learning from
exactly.
the past.
So
basically, right?
yeah, I took kind of the scenic route to answer your question about does it feel like a startup, but you kind of feel like, well, that's a little bit in the rearview mirror. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
We're starting to feel better walking with that heavy foot, as we say.
I was also thinking when I asked it was because I mean, if you listen to the evil voices of the industry, you would say that you are in a declining business. I don't agree with that, and you know that I don't agree with that. No. But I think that some PSPs, they have difficult times. Some have very good times. Some have been able to adapt into, let's say, some of the new ventures where Fujifilm is also a supplier, as you mentioned, large format and DTG and DTF. All these kind of things obviously makes that you are able to deliver wide, so you can spread your investments a little bit on making sure that you can monetize from it. But I was just thinking that, how important is it for I mean, you as, the way I think I know you, Andy, is basically that you are hardworking. I think you have a very precise objective of what one you want to achieve, and if you can get everybody walking in that direction, you can rule the world, so to speak, right? Yeah. And I'm just wondering, because that requires that you have the same people, the same let's say mentality that the Japanese organization support an American mindset and things like that. I'm just wondering how that actually works for you.
Well, it's a good question, because you do, the innovation does come down from our headquarters, amazing innovation that comes out of Japan, right? But with that, with each region, you have to set a cadence, a certain pace, right? So when we talk about that here at Fujifilm, for the Americas anyway, we're not just talking about it here, but we're looking at spreading things like the Aspire program, which is our business development for CMYK Plus, out to Europe and out to Middle East and Africa, and getting that, becoming that global drumbeat, if you will. We don't talk, I don't want to talk about every solution, wide format, inkjet, B2, toner, workflow as these 5 things. I want to talk about it as a cohesive fist.
And that's why you also spoke about that it's not, let's say, a product portfolio, but it's a platform.
It's a platform, so you enter at whatever point you can, but knowing that you can span that platform to deliver better ROI.
One of the things that I asked you in the pause earlier today was a little bit, because I mean, when I see your presentation, I like your presentation. I think that everybody was doing the jobs to, basically, right? But it also felt...
There's always a but. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, but it also felt a little bit like, I worked for Xerox more than 20 years ago. It felt a little bit like coming back to where you say you identify a problem, and then of course you have the solution for it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that is nothing wrong in that, but I was just wondering, because if you look at these fantastic machines, and I was really surprised that you went public with the pricing on the machines, which is like new in the industry, I think.
Well, don't keep things a secret, right? Because how are we going to move this thing ahead? I mean, if there's this misnomer of us being a declining market, it's a redefining market, right? So you really need to kind of up level and not just sort of say, here's what's coming ahead of you, what's around the corner. And I think that the whole what's around the corner is some of the things that we want to talk about today. Set your mind on fire. Think differently. Don't think that, I've got this over-reliance on the status quo. Be the status quo, if you will, right? And change it.
But that was why I was asking, because if you then say that, okay, that openness, that freaking nice technology that you put on the floor here and the samples you show here and all the applications that, I think is also a cadeau to your design team, is that you have really made it possible to see, let's say, everyday applications in various forms and shapes.
Exactly.
But how do these machines, where do they fit in, let's say, in the competitive space? I mean, we have, whether we like it or not, we have competitors out there. So,
well, if you must, put it...
I'm not asking for names, but I'm just thinking that, is this for the mom and pop shops that have an old offset machine where they could basically go and think of this instead?
Okay, so that's a good question. So when we've got our 1120, which is the diamond in our production tiara over there, we might have customers that, for whatever reason, they might have the abilities for whatever reason, to afford that. So we're trying to democratize things that are up here down into stream where it's more affordable. So if I'm a mom and pop shop, no problem. If I'm franchise print, mid-level, no problem with the 285. Maybe I'm a little step up from that, or I've got a little bit higher revenue. I can get into maybe a little bit of both and have that whole story of inkjet and toner, all that stuff together. So I think if you look at the platform, whether you're here from a needs and a viability from a funding to buy something, or down here if I'm just starting out, we want to be able to offer everything to everybody.
Okay, that makes sense.
But just what I say, but not trying to be all things to all people.
No,
So,
I understand
yeah.
that. So basically be the right... Okay, that was not me. I was okay. No, Andy, I understand that. I appreciate what you just said. Question. I think that Ricoh was the first that brought, like, let's say, extra colors to the toner-based machines many years ago. And then with Xerox, the Iridesse, of course, built by Fujifilm was like...
Actually, it was a color press before that. So color press came out in 2008.
Okay, so I didn't know my history.
Yeah.
But my question, and it has nothing to do so much with who was first, it was more like, if you look at the market for having that embellishment, and we also heard Kevin and Eric from Tactical talking about it, is it a market that you're trying to push into a growth mode? Or is it actually a market that is sustainable right now? And I'm asking because, I mean, all the machines that you have introduced also exist in both 4-color and 5-color versions, right? Yep. And I was just wondering, because you can preach about that embellishment is higher value for the printers, but if the printers can't sell it, which was also one of the discussions today, then you have invented technology that is really nice to have, rather than something that is really the bread and butter business machines for your business, right? Do you get my point?
I do get your point. I think that, so while it's so important, we want to normalize embellishments, right?
Okay, so that is bringing it to, as you say, democratization of it.
It's democratization. Yeah, I mean, it's still, print has been out for over 1,000 years, right? Started with way more than that, actually. Started in caves and drawings on cave walls. But moving through that, though, digital embellishments are in their infancy, right? So it is beholden upon us and our competitive OEM guys to make sure that, what's the term I always use? Rising tides, all the boats rise together, right? And I sort of overuse that, but I truly believe that.
But I think it's a good one.
I think we just happen to have, by far the widest offering in that space.
So will that also put a lot of pressure on you to say that, okay, your inkjet devices needs to also serve, let's say, embellishment and a wider gamut in the future?
I don't think so, because I think because you've got the offering, there's requirements for both inkjet applications as well as this. You can take those applications and embellish them after the fact on our devices, right?
Okay. So that
you
is
can,
how it works,
yeah, you can
basically
have your cake and eat it too, if you will. Yeah.
Fantastic. When you're finished with the event today, you don't have anything tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow I've got a channel partner who's here from Canada.
Of course, so you have extra work tomorrow.
So what I'm going to do is we're just onboarding a new channel partner tomorrow. We're going to walk them through the digital disruption platform and just get them indoctrinated in all the stuff that is Fujifilm. You're welcome to hang out, by the way. Yeah.
When you go to bed tomorrow evening or Saturday evening, would you be sleeping extra long the next day?
I think I might sleep in a little bit that day for sure, but I'll be right back here, I think, the following week. So
that's how Andrew Gunn is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for being in.